Hello. It is Turkey Day, gobble gobble. And for many across the nation, and kind of world too, I guess. I don't know how many people outside of the world celebrate it, but for many, they're eating turkeys. Once upon a time, in a company, there used to be matches where the loser had to put on a turkey suit. That's my segue into this. I, of course, am Sierra Daredevil, and for the last few months, you've seen me come back to YouTube with the WCW What If series where we started in 1995 in the Monday Night Wars and did the thing where Hogan wasn't there and his friends weren't there, and we built a slightly different universe than what existed in real life, and have been going pretty strongly in that. Well, I decided that after the pretty decent success with that, I've been able to continue that on a consistent basis. In fact, this weekend we will be running World War III, our third pay-per-view in this series. So you'll definitely want to check that out. But I decided that as I'm trying to get into the swing of things some more, that it would be super fun to do a second TEW series. Obviously, as you can tell what's on your screen, it's pretty clear what company we're going to be running in that second series. So we are going to be doing TNA. For those who have been around since the beginning, which, if you have been, super appreciative. My first two big series in TEW, or on YouTube, whatever, was in TEW 2016, and it was a WCW 1997 series, and then a TNA 2014 series. I really liked the TNA 2014 series. I really enjoyed booking it, but I just ended up, stuff happened, essentially. So then I got to thinking, well, how fun would it be if we revisited that? But not the same exact series. Just how fun would it be if we revisited TNA in 2014 again? That is right. This series is going to be at TNA starting off the first week of April of 2014. This is going to be a slightly different TNA than in real life in 2014, although not much. Not as different as I don't have this whole universe built behind it like I did with the Monday Night Wars What If series. But it's gonna be interesting to see. So this is TNA in 2014. You'll see it's on Thursday now because I wanted to get forward a couple of days and see what was all going to be playing out, so I could prepare myself for it. So we're gonna go over a few things in this. First things first, the owner goals are on. These are our owner goals. We can't have fallen below number 2 in the company rankings. We can't hire anybody who has an impactful or luchador style. I was hoping for a little bit more, and maybe we'll still get a little bit more, but for now, those are the only ones. The reason I bring that up right away is because this series is going to be a little unique. Not quite yet, though. You gotta give me a little bit of time to build up to it. But the idea will be that in due time, and obviously I will announce when that starts, I will accept owner goals from viewers. Now, what that will entail, I will go over when we get closer to that time. Obviously, that will not be hire John Cena and make him the TNA World Heavyweight Champion. That's not going to be a legitimate owner goal. I will go over that in due time. But for now, just start thinking about some, because as a viewer, you will be allowed to come up with goals that I have to meet in this series. But we're going to go through at least a few weeks in this, or a few weeks, at least probably a few months. Honestly, with Slammiversary being the second week in June in this series, I might wait until after that. So 2 months in game. One thing that will be different about this series versus the Monday Night Wars What If series as well is that this one is not going to be a one episode. This is not going to be a staying on time with what is, staying on time within the game versus what real life kind of thing. Case in point, in the Monday Night Wars What If series, it's coming up on the last weekend of November. Granted, it's 1995, but it's coming up on the last weekend in November in that, and obviously we're coming up on the last weekend in November in real life. This is not going to stay along with that. Obviously, as you can tell, this is starting off the first week of April. This will probably be a little bit more frequently of frequent episodic series. I mean, I am stumbling all over my words today. For example, there is going to be we have 2 impacts until we get to lockdown. Right? Yeah. We have 2 impacts until we get to, well, technically 3 impacts until we get to lockdown. Those will probably all be within a couple of weeks. And probably even lockdown too. Honestly, I'm probably going to end up doing at least 2 episodes of this series a week, maybe more than that. It just depends on how quickly I'm able to turn them out. So they're going to be a little bit more frequent. So hopefully you guys are ready for your subscription stuff to start getting flooded by Daredevil content, which if you're not subbed to the channel already, please do. Super appreciate it. As I continue to regrow once again here on YouTube and try to make myself at least a somewhat decent player in the TEW world. I know I have plenty of bigger names that I'm behind when it comes to TEW on YouTube, but I am pretty gung-ho about becoming a bigger name in the TEW world. And as I continue to grow, maybe I'll start incorporating other stuff, better graphic stuff, all that, maybe music stuff, all that kind of stuff. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So you'll be getting a few more episodes of this a week. The first episode, well, this is the first episode, but the first impact won't happen until next week, which will be after the World War III and Monday Nitro follow-up videos, just because I want to make sure I spend the next couple days focusing on just those and getting those set up the way I want it to be. And then from there, we'll be kind of churning these out pretty often as well. So, brief little overview of the company, as I've already gone over a lot of stuff. We are starting off medium. That's where this starts it off in the mod. Second in the world, 65 across the board in the USA, 65 in Canada, 50 in Mexico, 60 in the British Isles, 40 in Japan, 20 in Europe, 20 in Oceania, and 13 in India. That is a lot of crazy popularity. I don't think TNA was ever that popular, especially in 2014, but we'll deal with it. Little over $5 million to our name, so we have some money to play with there. 65% prestige and momentum, so pretty decent stuff there. Dixie Carter owns TNA. She rates our performance as excellent. Dixie Carter is the owner of TNA. We are playing as Dave Lagana, who was the booker in this mod when it started. I was going to create a character to be as the booker, but honestly, I don't plan on ever having my booker character on screen ever. So I was just like, whatever, I'll just take over the current booker and go from there. Roster, we're not gonna go over every single person, but we'll kind of point out. We'll kind of let you see these here. Of course, it's your 2014 roster, with a fair amount of people on here. There are a few people who might be popping out as ones that are like they weren't there in 2014. I did do some hiring as well. For example, Katrina Waters, we brought her back to TNA. Mia Yim, we brought her to TNA at this time instead of later on like she does. And we got some other people lined up to come in as well. Trevor Lee, we're bringing him in a lot earlier than TNA did in real life. All that. We got some other people we're going to be bringing in time. So we'll kind of go over the creative stuff really quick. So franchise players, we got Kurt Angle, who's currently out for a little under 4 months with chronic knee issues. So he'll be doing angles, but he won't be in any matches. Bully Ray and Jeff Hardy are our top 3 there. Next big things, just Madison Rain. That's not a good sign. Hot prospects: Brooke Tessmacher, Madison Rain, Samuel Shaw, Brittany, aka Santana Garrett, and Marshall Von Erich. Talk the Talk: Angle, Bischoff, Taz, Daniels, Bully Ray. Showstoppers: Aries, Angle, Daniels, Madison Rain apparently is really high up there, and Samoa Joe. Ring Generals: Angle, Rude, Richards, Joe, Aries, and yeah, from there. Teams at this era: the American Wolves, Bad Influence, the Beautiful People, Angelina Love, and Velvet Sky. Although this is kind of in that time where they weren't quite together that much, because Velvet at this time, Velvet was managing Chris Sabin during that whole thing. So I don't know how much you're going to see of the Beautiful People working together, but they still might kind of work together at times. The Bromans and the Von Erichs. We're working on getting a couple more teams formed, since obviously that is not a strong tag team division. Stables wise, we have the Bromans, Jesse, Robbie, and Zema Ion. Team Dixie: Magnus, Ethan Carter III, Abyss, Rockstar Spud, and of course Dixie Carter. And then shouts out to the Menagerie. The Menagerie's here. Crazy Steve, Nux, the Freak, Rebel. Menagerie. Just watch them get pushed to the freaking moon here. Titles: Knockouts champion is Madison Rain, currently 5-time champion. X Division champion is a man who's on excursion right now, Sonata. So we'll see how long he's going to stick with us. Tag champs are Robbie E and Jesse. And then the World Heavyweight Champion is Magnus. Storylines, I haven't really set anything up yet. Storylines is going to be, I'm not going to have the strict storylines on until after Slammiversary because I wanted to give myself a little bit of time to build them up because, for example, I have to have 3 with 50 heat and the game starts you off with 2, so right off the bat I knew I was going to start having some trouble, so I figured I'd get some time to get used to everybody and build that up first. Preference-wise, however, we do have pretty much everything on, though, so we're going to be seeing a lot more restricted stuff, but that's going to be part of the challenge. Backstage, Bully Ray and Low-Key are my negative people, and the backstage rules are having a negative effect on morale. I'm probably going to change those in a little bit. In fact, I'll probably just do it here. I always end up adding a masseuse and chiropractor to them. So that get boosted up to 90%. Medical, like I said, Kurt's the only one that's out. Yeah. We run house shows Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Might change that slightly. You're seeing a lot of red there because there are a lot of people under handshake deals at this time versus actual RIN deals. Since we are a medium company, we can hire people to RIN deals, and so that's what we're trying to do. I went and took a lot of the people who I really wanted to keep with the company and offered them RIN deals. And we're kind of seeing what's going to happen with everyone else from there, see if they get grabbed or if we still manage to keep them under handshake deals. Because, of course, WWE is going to try to step in and steal everybody that they possibly can. So there will be that. Yeah, I don't really know. It's announcers. It's Tenay and Taz at this point. For Impact and Explosion. We do have Explosion. Right now, we're going to be taping Explosion before Impact. Probably... I might show Explosions on here. Explosion's going to be like with the Monday Night Wars series with Saturday Night. Sometimes there's stuff on there that you guys should see, and sometimes there isn't. With Explosion, it's really going to be nothing at all. So if you guys want to see it, leave a comment, say you do, but honestly, there's not going to be anything on there really. Explosion is definitely going to be where like my lower tier people are just going to fight and just try to get them a little bit more popular. Just trying to, like all these unimportants that I have, and some of these recognizables that I have too, will probably be fighting on there. Which I guess, to be fair, I could have showed you that really quick too. So major stars, we have Bully Ray, Eric Bischoff, Jeff Hardy, Kurt Angle, and Taz. Stars, Abyss and Magnus. Well-known, Aries, Rude, Sabin, Daniels, Storm, MVP, Anderson, and Joe. And then kind of everybody from there. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to be building people up and try to run things in 2014 in TNA. Of course, company war-wise, WWE's number 1, TNA's 2, New Japan's 3, AAA's 4, CMLL's 5, and it kind of goes from there. Relationship-wise, we have a deal with AAA where we trade talent and don't steal from each other, as well as Wrestle One. We'll see how long both of those last, because usually the game's not good about keeping those kind of deals going, but we'll see. Yeah, so that's kind of a brief little rundown there. We're gonna end up, as I mentioned, we're gonna end up kind of building at this point. Lockdown's probably not gonna have a whole lot of big storylines heading into it. We might start kind of building storylines after Lockdown, just after I get a better idea of what people are going to look like in the ring. Doesn't mean that we won't have any storylines whatsoever, or any stories going on whatsoever, because that would be kind of boring, but it may not be like anything really good until after we get past Lockdown, which I'm going to be keeping with the actual tradition of Lockdown and having every single match inside of a steel cage. So that'll be interesting to see how our first pay-per-view does with that, because I gotta imagine that they're not going to like that, especially since our product is classic sports entertainment, and fans will be upset by dangerous, controversial, or bloody match types. So we might get a god-awful rating for our first pay-per-view. We'll have to see how that plays out. I should have that scripted there. So yeah, that's probably going to be a rough show, but that's what's going to happen, because I'm not doing, I'm going to be trying to stick with the Lockdown being an actual every match is a cage match kind of thing. So yeah, that's kind of the rough idea of this series. So it's going to be interesting to see how things play out. You're going to be seeing some interesting things happen, and kind of going from there. Of course, as I mentioned, in due time, probably after the first Slammiversary in this game, is when I'll start taking goals from the viewers. But when we get closer to that time, I will kind of tell you guys, like, this is kind of what we're going to be doing. Not specifically what we're going to be doing, but this is kind of the idea behind them. And then, kind of seeing how things play out from there. I think it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be a fun revisit of that series from back in back when I did that in TEW 2016, that is, when I got about a year and a half into the series. I do know we did 2 different Bound for Glory series in there, which, will be another thing that will be returning this year, or in this one. But you never know who's going to be popping up in TNA in 2014 and who we're going to hire or rehire, and all that crazy stuff's from there. So let me know what you think about this. Let me know if you are excited to see another series, one that will be having a few more videos popping up on your feeds. And from Sierra Daredevil, I wish you all a happy Turkey Day and a happy almost end of November. But first, we'll have World War III to get to. Deuces.